Welcome back to Case Closed, Anime Review episode number 145. This one, I'm reviewing the 1033rd episode of the anime, Taiko Meijin Shogi Board Opening Move. This one I did check. It does from the entirety of chapter 1043 and the first 4 pages of chapter 1044. I'll get to basically what part of the episode covers those first 4 chapters. Now, there's some minor changes here. Mostly put, it is basically a camera. It's basically they just, like the first portion of the episode, like whatever you see in the episode, it's a complete opposite direction of the manga. Start off with basically Conan and Detective Boys basically talking about something called Double H. Namely put, talking about 2 Shogi players. Not Shogi players, 2 soccer players that they're big fans of teams. And they walk for a bit, and then they're talking about, like, well, of course, Conan's looking at an article about Shogi, because in the last canon case, which happened a while ago, yeah, it's, in case you're curious, though, like, what was the last official canon case they had for the series that was not the standalone episode? That was actually back in episode 1085. 85 was, 1025. And this is only 1033, so it's been about 8 episodes since then. Not bad. It's the normal amount of episodes they have released between these and the original stuff. So basically, it's a follow-up to that. Plus, this also is sort of a minor follow-up to something that happened, like, that aired, anime-wise, 6 years ago. And you're thinking, really? 6 years ago? Yeah, because they reference a character from an episode that happened 6 years ago. Chikara Kasima? Yeah, he's mentioned here. Yeah, when they mention his daughter in this episode, which this episode is actually her anime debut. Yep. So basically, they have, like, Taiko basically chatting about how the word of Yamaka, the Yukiko, basically someone who loses on purpose. I was like, fixing a game. Yeah, that comes from a guy from playing Go. Turns out the guy was actually really good at Go. He just lost on purpose to entertain people. The only reason I revealed that he was actually good at Shogi was because he's playing an actual Shogi player, and he nearly beat him. Yeah. So then, just by sheer coincidence, like not long after he last season, like, okay, I'm off. See, I was on place. Like, of course, it's like, oh, you on a date with Yumi? And he's like, no, I'm off someplace else. Like, because normally, and of course, this point out about him, normally he's very shaggy looking, basically doesn't shave, and he also is wearing kimono. That's the way he normally dresses, which that's indeed true. Normally, that's how he normally dresses. And pretty much, like, and he goes off, and then here's Yumi. Now, I should point out, though, the direction the camera does in the anime is complete opposite in the manga. In the anime, she's facing to the right, when she's following, of course, her boyfriend. In the manga, it's actually to the left, which is kind of weird, but I'm not going to blame TMS Studio for that. That's basically them taking the same exact image, just take this, for example. Oh, look, she's looking to the right. When in actuality, she's looking the other direction. Yeah, just give a camera perspective. And then it turns out that, and of course, it's out by a place called, looks like a donut shop. Turns out a place called Star Donut, which is a place that she recommended him, like, a week ago. And then he meets up with 2 women, which they even make a small change here. Which, this change makes so sense because it's such a hilarious thing. He's like, how'd you know about this place? Because, and then of course Yumi says over behind him, because I recommended him in that magazine I showed him a week ago. Yes, Yumi-tan, like, Yumi-tan. And of course, like, Yumi, like, oh, you must be the Majin's girlfriend, the Yumi-san. Oh yeah, he talked to me all the time. Yeah, and it turns out one of these girls is actually, her name is Mina Kasama, who's actually the daughter of one of the Shogi players. Apparently, he has, well, apparently begun teaching Shogi, which is interesting. Yeah, apparently at some point, uh, Taiko apparently got back his old title as a Meijin. Yes, he got it back at some point. Because at some point he actually lost the titles, and then all of a sudden he got his titles back at some point. Now, I should point out though, Taiki, basically his last appearance in the anime was actually back in episode 972. An episode aired about 2 years ago. Yes, about 2 years ago. That was his last appearance in the series. That was the policeman murder. And I'm like, really? About 2 years ago? Interesting to say the least. Yep. Now, when I reviewed this arc in the manga, I love this arc. Because this one had good grip and this one had the best drama and plot over the course of all the cases I've reviewed since the reviewing case closed over the past 3 years, almost 3 years now. This year, basically this month, I've been reviewing the series now for 3 years. This case, by far, when I was reviewing the manga, this was the best case I reviewed so far because I love this case. It was so interesting. So, it turns out, though, in the case of Tamako, he actually had been renting an apartment, though he wasn't paying for it. He was paying with 5 others, the 2 women, and then they go to the apartment, maybe with a guy named, oh, what's his name? There's Uru, and it's Shiko and Kosuke. Yeah, he's a chunky guy. Of course, there's also something about a shogi board with upside down with missing one of his legs. And he goes to the guy's apartment, and of course they can't get contact with him for some reason, so they go to the apartment, they look about, and they can't find him until the chunky guy goes in the kitchen and finds the guy dead on the floor, strangled. And in the manga, that's where it ended. In the anime, they pick up right after that. For the opening few pages, was they notice like he's dead, and then of course Kona tells Yumi to contact the police and the ambulance, and of course she contacts Sato, because why not? And then in the manga, she arrives right afterwards. In the anime, she arrives right after the credits, where they basically kind of debriefs for stuff, and of course they have a brief little argument between Yumi and Taiko, and it's like, chit-chat. Of course, he had touched the counter for some reason, and somebody was wearing his hand, and Kona says something about it too. He does a question about it, and then, of course, that's where the episode ends. Interesting, though, that they basically went through the entire chapter, and they went through the first, few pages, which to me makes total sense to do. Because to abruptly end with saying, oh, look, a dead body. Having that continue a little bit basically was a good part of the anime to do that. I appreciate them doing that, because in the manga, oh crap, someone's dead. And then for the anime, basically, it'd be so stupid. Really stupid. What? We're not going to continue this little thing for another, minute? Lucky enough, they managed to cover the first few pages of next chapter, 1044, in a span of a couple minutes. Yeah, it was really quick. But hey, at least they get everything in. Also, they did change one small bit here toward the end, where when Sato's telling Yumi enough chit-chat in the manga, you see her looking at them In the anime, you see back of her head and basically them with a weird expression of face and gnawing out towards the episode ends. But gotta say, great episode. Looking forward to next week. Just like I am with How Real Estate Over the Kingdom. Oh, I forgot to mention that one. I'm currently reading right now book 13 of the series. Yep, 13. And it was just last month they released in Japan the 16th volume of the series. Yep, 16. Yep. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for this particular review. Excuse me. And that's going to be it for videos today. I'd say probably tomorrow, I probably have about 3 anime to do tomorrow overall. And that's going to be One Piece, Demon Slayer, and Boruto. Oh yeah, in case you're curious though, there's going to be any manga happening tomorrow? I don't think so. Let me take a look at here. I don't think there's any new manga coming out tomorrow. No. There isn't any new manga coming out tomorrow. And you're thinking, really? Why is there a new manga coming out tomorrow? Well, they're taking a week off. Yeah. That's the simple reason for that. So overall, I'd say I probably have about 3 videos overall to do tomorrow. Yep. But see you next video. Bye.